we can get into the debate topic now that we just came up with today. It's top 5 point guards this season. So I'm thinking we do it similar to how we did the top 5 MLB teams, where we go through each spot with what each of us have.
You want to go 1 through 5 or
so
5 through 1?
We can do 5 through 1.
Yeah,
we can start
five
with any honorable mentions that you guys have. I have 2.
I have
any
one.
honorable mentions.
I have one honorable mention,
All
right, all right, I'll go first. My honorable mention is Ja Morant. Look, I get it. I get. Look, he has been so good this year. So good.
He's gonna pull up the LeBron stat again.
No, he's gonna pull up the Grizzlies are 20-2 and he doesn't play.
No, I was not. I actually wasn't gonna pull either of those up. Because he actually in the LeBron stat, which I am gonna reference soon. He is doing pretty well in that category.
All right, let's hear this.
All right, but
let's hear this.
My 5 spot.
Whoa.
I have one honorable mention too.
Oh yeah.
Okay, my honorable mention is Kyrie Irving. So hear me out. Great season.
I'll have 3 honorable mentions.
He's averaging 27, 4 and 5. He's only played 25 games, and the Nets are 27 and 22 without him. Yes, he's been good, but he's only played 25 games.
Not just good, but crazy.
He's been great. He's been
great, but he's only played
25 games.
Okay, but
we're talking about
also,
this season.
All right, sure, but also he's been scoring a lot at crazy efficiency too. So I put that.
Well, all right, before you get into your 5 spot,
all
right. I had 2 honorable mentions and then one guy I was going to mention that just I didn't really consider that heavily. One honorable mention is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who is averaging 24, 6 and 5, but he just missed a lot of games, so I couldn't put him on the list over some of the other guys. Kyrie Irving, another honorable mention, missed too many games, and Chris Paul is not on my list. He's a good floor general. He's averaging 14 and 10. These other guys are just better than him, I think, talent-wise. So he's not on my list.
I don't know. Now I'm thinking about it. Look, maybe I'm starting to rethink honorable mention Ja, but I don't know. Yeah,
which get into number 5?
Yeah,
what's your number 5?
Okay, my number 5 is Kyrie Irving. And I get it. He's played significantly less games than the rest of these guys, but I will reference this set. He has the 8th best LeBron rating. No, but if you think about it, do you realize how ridiculous that is? He's played 25 games and he's already number 8 in that. Just imagine him in a full season. So
but he hasn't played a full season.
Okay, but
that's the rank. That's the basis of our ranking.
I thought about putting him in 5. I just couldn't.
I couldn't either.
I just couldn't.
I don't know, but also you got to account for how efficient he is on his scoring. There were multiple games where his true shooting percentage was near or over 100%. That is just ridiculous. He literally broke analytics. That is just insane. So because of that and my Nets bias, I have to put him on at least. I have to put him 5th.
I'm excited. No one's mentioned the guy I'm about to say.
Number 5, I've got Stephen Curry.
Okay. Good.
At my 5 spot.
Mention my 5.
He's averaging 25, 6 and 5, but he's missed a lot of this season. The Warriors have struggled without him. I think he's the greatest point guard of all time, but this season, I have him number 5.
All right. My number 5 might come as a shock. DeJounte Murray. And hear me out.
I actually have him higher.
Okay, good. Hear me out.
I like that.
He's averaging 21, 8 and 9, played 67 games. The same seed as the Nets. I was debating putting him and Kyrie, same seed as the Nets, and the Spurs are 1 and 8 without him. So clearly he has a good impact on winning. And they're gonna make the play-in. When they were expected to be a bottom team in the league. Spurs are 1 and 8 without him. He's averaging very good points. He was a first-time All-Star. I think it's very fair to put him at number 5.
Okay, but I don't think that the record argument, trying to debunk Kyrie, makes any I don't think
I
that
think
is
his
a fair
I think
argument.
his stats just still put him in that spot.
Yeah. My point.
No,
my
that's
point
I mean,
fair.
he was an
That's totally
all-star.
fair.
He was an all-star this year.
My point mainly with comparing the records was to show how expectations for the Spurs and expectations for the Nets were very different, and they're still in the same spot.
Okay, but that is just leaving out so much context.
That is
leaving out so much context.
But
KD missed so much of the year.
But-
Kyrie missed so much of the year.
that
And
doesn't
then,
discredit
at that
what
point,
the Spurs have done.
okay, it doesn't discredit the Spurs, but that is taking the Nets out of context so much,
It's
considering
the
KD
truth.
missed like 30 games, and then at one point
And
it was
traded
just,
away James Harden. But
okay,
I
sure,
digress.
but then they had James Harden, who's just staying up until 5 a.m. at the strip club eating some Philly cheesesteaks, and then
while they're the 4 seed, mind you.
no, but then also he would just not try, and he would just be playing with a bunch of bricks, to be honest. So sure, I'm not taking any credit away from DeJounte Murray and the Spurs. That is fine. But I will say I don't think that argument is valid to compare against the Nets.
All right, fine. Take away that argument. He's still averaging 21, 8, and 9. The Spurs are 1 and 8 without him. Clearly,
And he's an all-star.
a great point guard. He's an all-star. So, especially
Okay.
this year with
But I'm
so
just
many
saying the 27 and 22 without Kyrie, you realize they had KD like
That's
during a decent amount of those games, or KD or Harden. But
well,
also,
I mean,
and sure they are in the same spot, but none of them played together for most of the year.
is that the Spurs' fault?
No, but you shouldn't be comparing the Spurs and the Nets.
I
Like-
think it's very fair to compare.
How is that fair to compare?
But
Right.
even though the
Let's-
record
this
is
is gonna
DeJounte
take-
Murray is a top
This
5
is going to
point
take too much time.
All right,
I'm-
fine.
So I'll go with my number 4 spot. I had Darius Garland at number 4.
I don't know.
He's averaging 21, 8, and 3. He's again an all-star, and I know we're not really taking records into account, but people expected the Caps to be pretty bad, and he is leading them very, very well, scoring over 20 a night, really assisting over 10 a night on a lot of occasions. I mean, really, really good season for Darius Garland. I think he's the number 4 point guard this year.
Yeah,
that's,
I think
that's actually, I like that pick.
I
too.
think with this one you can take into account like expectations and record.
Yeah,
I think
sure,
that's fair.
sure. And also he's the best player on that team too,
Or-
easily.
Yeah, definitely.
And also the fact that like, yeah, the Cavs were they were supposed to stink. And now I'm just thinking about it. There are so many good point guards in the league.
Yeah.
Like you could make a good argument, a compelling argument for 10 guys
I had-
to be
I
in
had
top
a hard
5.
time deciding this.
I left off of this list. I left off LaMelo Ball, Fred VanVleet. I mean, some of these other guys are just really solid. I have
So
Trae Young
many.
on my list, but
There are so many
Oh,
guys,
I
which
don't.
I do. But I'll get it anyway. He's not my
You
point, but I'll
well,
get
then
into
we're
my
gonna have an
number
interesting
4.
debate coming down the stretch. But
I'm gonna get into my
Yeah, who's
number
your number
4. Mine is Chris Paul.
Okay.
Look, I get it. He doesn't do a lot scoring wise. He's not the best 3-point shooter. He's kind of just a slasher, but he has a really good mid range. But he's not a main scorer, which is fine. Which is why I didn't put him higher on this list. But you can't deny he is the best passer in the league by far. And let's not look at just the fact that he's averaging 10 assists a game. He is averaging 10 assists a game while also turning the ball over like at a remarkably low clip. Like a lot of these guys on these lists, they are good passers. They're really good passers, but they're turning the ball over way more than Chris Paul is. Like the ball security that Chris Paul has is unparalleled. It's not even close. And also the fact that he's one of the best on-ball defenders in the league. One of the best. But yeah, he's not like a true like scorer. So yeah, I didn't put him that high on this list.
Yeah. My 4 and 3, I'm going to do together because you guys have both mentioned both. I have Curry 4, Chris Paul 3. Basically, Curry, like you said, Dan, best point guard I think of all time. When he was healthy, the Warriors We're a top seed. There's no discrediting what he's done. Chris Paul, you just said it all. One of the best passers in the league. And he's
one of the best passers ever.
Ever. He's been one of the prime reasons why the Suns are as good as they are. I mean, I don't think there's any denying that he's great. So I just did those. That's my 4 and 3.
See, I have Steph higher.
So yeah, at my 3 spot, unless you want to go with your 3 spot, Matt, but my 3 spot, I have DeJounte Murray at 3. Like you said, 21-9-8 All-Star. Spurs are most likely going to be in the play-in at least. I mean, this guy does it all. I mean, every night he's putting up 20 plus, over 7 assists, over 7 rebounds. I mean, every night he's carrying the Spurs right now. Young star. I think this season he's number 3.
That's fair.
Fair.
I like that. For my number 3, I had Luka.
I don't know if we were putting him into account in point guard.
I consider him.
I have him on my list.
I think he's
I'll
because he is the primary ball handler on that
all
team.
right, I like that.
So, but yeah, he's second in WAR, among all point guards. He's 5th in EPN, and then he is a walking triple double. I think triple doubles are like kind of a dumb stat, but like the ones that he puts up, it's very.
I mean,
impressive.
they show something.
Yeah, it does show something, especially like if it's really different if you're only averaging like 10, 10, and 10, as opposed to Luka, who could get 28, 10, and 10, which is very impressive. And also like he's a very smooth player. Like it doesn't even look like he tries that hard on the court, but like he just always finds a way to get a bucket. He just find a way to get a bucket, and I think he's a rather underrated passer. I don't know if it's just you guys, but I think he's a very underrated passer. So yeah, he's my number 3.
That's interesting. Number 3. I'm honestly you have number 1 and 2, but for me, I mean, I guess I got to do some moving around here. I would put Luka ahead of. I'd actually probably put him at number 1, but in my 2 spot without Luka. My 2 spot without Luka, I have Ja Morant. 27, 7, and 6. Probably going to be most improved. Should definitely get some MVP consideration, I think, even though he has missed some games, which is why he won't get any MVP consideration. But he would have been first on the list for me over the guy I have next, but he's just missed some time. But I mean, he is unbelievable.
Look, yeah, don't get me wrong. Ja has had an amazing season. He's going to win most improved. Sure, yeah, he should get some MVP conversation. He's not like in the clear top 3 at all, but I think he should get like at least a little bit of thought. But you made a really compelling argument.
Yeah,
I could see any of these guys in the top 5 easily. But anyway, Zach, you could say
I'm just gonna bounce off because my number 2 is also Ja. I mean, basically everything that you just said, I'll piggyback. I mean, 27, 7, and 6, like they're by far the second best team in the West when people expected them to be a fringe play-in team. I mean, they came onto this scene crazy fast with him at the driver's seat. I mean, the only knock is that they are 20-2 without him. So I think that puts a damper on his MVP conversation, but point guard alone, he's been amazing. He's going to win most improved, like you said. I mean, there's no denying he's been just nothing short of spectacular.
Yeah, he's been amazing. But yeah, I'll get into my number 2. And I'm surprised. I feel like I'm surprised that none of you guys have mentioned yet. But it's Trae Young. He's third in the among point guards in WAR, 4th in EPM. He's first in win shares, actually, I think. But then he's also like overall, he's just one of the best. I think he's one of the best scorers in the league. There's nothing that he can't do on offense. Great passer, great ball handler, and just he's always getting a bucket, especially in the crunch time. I don't think again nobody's clutch, but he has made clutch shots. That is
So he's clutch.
No, but anyways,
um,
I understand that he is a defensive liability. Like he's not a good defender, and it really, really shows. But I think he just brings so much to the table offensively that his defensive issues, if you will, I think they offset him easily.
Yeah. I mean, you said you were surprised no one had mentioned him yet, and that's because I had Luka ahead of him, but I have him at number 1 on the list.
Jesus.
He's averaging 28 points a game, 10 assists, 4 rebounds, was an all-star starter, and the Hawks are playing very, very well at the right time. I mean, I know he's a defensive liability, but he's averaging almost 30 and 10 as a point
Exactly.
guard. I mean, it's kind of remarkable what he's doing. So, I mean, Zach, you didn't have him on your list, right?
He was an honorable mention for me. I forgot to mention him with Kyrie and.
No, I think you did mention that he was.
I did. I must have, but I was considering him at 5 too.
But no, I have him at number 1. I guess I would have him at number 2 if I had Luka on the list. But
and
I'd try on number 1.
Speaking of Luka, I have him at my number 1 spot. 28, 9 and 9 or something like that. I mean, he has a chance to average a triple-double through the entire season. The Mavericks are the 4 seed. I debated putting him or Ja number 1, and I ultimately decided to put Luka because of his pure impact. Like I said before, the Grizzlies are 19-2 without Ja, so clearly there are other guys stepping up. I feel like if Luka was not on the Mavericks, they would be in a drastically different spot.
They are a bottom feeder. They would be a bottom.
And I know that's a very hypothetically based argument, but it's true.
But I think it'd be true.
He is the Mavericks.
Who is the second best player on the Mavericks? Jalen Brunson? Like
maybe Dinwiddie.
Spencer Dinwiddie.
That would be a terrible team.
His impact on the Mavericks is by far the biggest impact of any point guard on their team all season.
Yeah, I think it's a similar situation with Jokic. Just the fact that these guys are really, really good players with, I'd say rather subpar supporting cast compared to the rest of the competitive Western Conference teams. And if you take them off those teams, they are much worse than, let's say, you take out like Devin Booker from the Suns or Donovan Mitchell from the Jazz.
I'd say that's the case with most of these players too. Like if you look at Trae Young, John Morant, DeJounte Murray, and maybe not with John Morant, he's got some good guys around him, but I mean definitely with DeJounte Murray, Darius Garland, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I mean, they don't have guys around them, which is why they're averaging such big numbers. But I mean, just the fact they're capable to put up 20 plus, 5 plus, 5 plus on a daily basis. I mean, these guys are just really, really good.
Exactly.
Yep.
Well, so I'll get into my number 1, and it's Steph. I know that he's missed quite a few games, but he in basically every analytical category, like the meaningful ones, like LeBron, EPM, and WART, he's number 1.
Yeah, the meaningful one.
Yeah, exactly. He's okay. Even in I think box plus minus, he's number 1. It's not even close. He just moves off the ball extremely well. He's also one of these underrated passers. And he just brings so much attention to other defenses that you have to, the goal is literally just have Curry shoot the ball the least amount of times. I think Steph that should honestly shoot more. I don't think it's ridiculous for him to shoot legit 35 shots a game.
I don't think it's crazy to have him at 1 personally.
Yeah,
no, I don't think it is either.
Exactly. Just I'm just on this
if
one.
He had played the full year. I might have
statistics. Had him mostly the analytics. It's just he's number 1, and even in the accumulative ones where he still missed some time, he's still number 1. So for me, that's why he's number 1 for me. And yes, I think he is the greatest point guard of all time.
Yeah, I'm glad we agree on that.
Yeah.
I think.
But
I was thinking about that being a debate topic, but now that we all agree on that.
But yeah, we agree.
So yeah, I'm glad we agree on that.
Yes, me
I
too.
saw mine. But I mean, those are all interesting lists. And all of them honestly could have went in many different directions. There was really no guys that we mentioned where if you had even put them at number one, you'd be like, whoa, like what are you doing? I mean, every guy on that
Exactly.
list deserved to be on there.
Yeah.
So
Literally,
even the honorable mentions.
even the honorable mentions, I
Uh,
would be like, yep, that is fine.
I mean,
That is valid.
LaMelo Ball and Fred VanVleet, I think, were both all-stars this year, and they both weren't
Yeah.
even on our lists.
Exactly.
But that wasn't crazy. So,
No.
no, I mean, point guard is probably one of the deeper positions in the NBA right now,
Probably
and
the
it's very
deepest position.
very young. So
Exactly. So